This meeting, Madam Minister, really comes at a very unusual situation at a time when the whole world is fighting for an invisible enemy, the coronavirus. But for the Palestinians, the pain is double. We have the coronavirus to fight, and we have the Israeli measures of annexation to fight as well. As you all remember, we and Israel have signed many agreements. Agreements that has to do with the interim period. And we have agreed that there are certain issues to be discussed and negotiated at the final status. These agreements should have been respected, and that occupation should have ended, and a Palestinian state should have established by May 4th, 1999. So the Palestinian people will contribute to the regional security and prosperity of our own people. Israel, unfortunately, has violated every single agreement that has been signed with them. The security agreement, the political agreement, the Paris Protocol agreement, and all legal agreements. Not only that, the situation under occupation has deteriorated. Palestinian geography has been fragmented. Gaza is under siege. Jerusalem is a walled city with no access for Palestinians to it. Hebron is divided between H1, H2, and the rest of the Palestinian territory is divided between Area A, Area B, Area C, with restrictions of movement between West Bank and Gaza and between the rest of the regions. Our zone of domain has been shrinking due to the Israeli confiscation measures. Not only that, Israel has used the rest of the Palestinian territories as a geographic reservoir for the expansion of Jewish settlements at a time when the number of Jewish settlers in the Palestinian territory today have reached more than 720,000 Jewish settlers. House demolitions have continued, and recently a policy of shoot to kill policy has been adopted by the Israeli army, and many lives, innocent lives, have been lost. Now that Israel has announced to annex certain parts of the Palestinian territory, I should report to you, Madam Minister, that the issue of annexation is not anymore an issue of announcement. Implementation measures have already started on the ground. Israel has started to send electricity bills, water bills to our villages in the Jordan Valley. Not only that, signs that were fixed by the Israelis to say that this area is part of the Palestinian Authority domain, these signs were removed yesterday from the Jordan Valley. The annexation is not only a grave breach of international law, but also it is part of a systematic destruction of a future and possibility of a Palestinian state. For us, not only that, but it is actually an existential threat for the Palestinian political project and for the Palestinian presence on their own land, in addition to the endangering and it being a threat for the regional security that has been of concern to all of us. Unfortunately, Madam Minister, these Israeli plans for annexation are in full harmony with what the United States has presented, what is called the ultimate deal or the peace plan. This United States project or initiative has been rejected, not only by us, but by all Arab countries, by Europe, by the international community as a whole, because it was a serious violation of international law and a total erosion of all the agreements that we signed with Israel. Also, in addition to this, Israel is not anymore committed to the agreements that has been signed with us. Consequently, the Palestinian leadership has decided that we are not anymore bound to these agreements. Madam Minister, this is not a unilateral action taken by the Palestinian leadership. This is a response to what Israel has been doing and the Israeli erosion and destruction of the agreements that has been signed with them. Do you think it is possible for us just simply to sit silent, doing nothing in response to these annexation plans? We cannot do that. That is a sell out of our territory. We don't do that. That's a sell out of our homeland. We don't do that. We are here to establish a two states for the dignity of our people, for the freedom of every Palestinian. And here I call upon you, our partners in this gathering, that Israel should be stopped from implementing these annexation plans, and that you put your economic weight behind your political statement. All of us gathered around this video conference gathering, I think we should be serious that Israel should not get away with murder, and that Israel is not above law and above international law. The Israelis should respect the agreements, and Israel should respect all the signed agreements. Palestinians, also, I hope that you do, as a response to Israeli measures, you do recognize a state of Palestine on the borders of 1967 with Jerusalem as its capital. This state, as Mr. Borrell has just mentioned, it should be viable, sovereign, contiguous, independent on the borders of 67 with Jerusalem as its capital. We do reject fully and totally this Israeli annexation attempt because it is also a violation of international law, especially that Israel is going also to extend its civil law over the illegal, illegitimate Jewish settlements. Madam Minister, our minds, our hearts continue to be open for any serious negotiations, for any serious peace initiative that is based on international law and United Nations resolutions that has to do with the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. We have called for the resumption of the quartet, and that the quartet meetings should be based on international law and United Nations resolutions, and Arab Peace Initiative as well. From our side, moving to another issue, we have successfully handled all these issues that has to do with Corona at very early stage, at very timely moment, and we are grateful to every single assistance that has been extended to all of us. Luckily, our damages have been very minimal. 5 people have lost their lives, 1 in Gaza, 2 in Jerusalem, and 2 in the West Bank. We don't have any case in the ICU, and that we only have 94 cases today in all the Palestinian regions. The Corona has left us with serious damages. Poverty has gone up to 68%. Unemployment has risen up to 30%. Our budget deficit, which you will hear from our Minister of Finance for 2 minutes, has risen up to $1.4 billion. We started to deal with the ramifications and the impacts of this Corona socially, financially, and economically. We have employed relief programs, which we extended cash assistance to 125,000 families, plus 40,000 unemployed workers, an additional 30,000 Palestinians, new poor people whom we call. The Palestinian private sector has contributed by paying salaries for the months of March and April, and that also all these figures are for West Bank and Gaza. We have also adopted a recovery program of $300 million, which we will provide concessionary loans to sectors that has been hard hit by this Corona crisis. We have also continued our development programs in the West Bank and in Gaza as well, whether it is in sewage and water and health, in education and so on. The real pain, Madam Minister, for us, that we were not able to bring back our students from all over the world. We had no airport, and we had no planes. We are grateful to Jordan and to Egypt, to Turkey, who were helping us to bring back our students at a time of crisis. I should tell you also, in time of crisis, a Palestinian patient moving from Gaza to West Bank should not need a permit from the Israelis. Movement between West Bank and Gaza should be open. movement for Palestinians from Nablus and Ramallah to reach East Jerusalem Hospital should be open. We don't need a permit from the Israeli military governor. But that is the fact of life that we have to face. In conclusion, this AHLC meeting is so important. After 25 years, Madam Minister, this is the only remaining structure that has to do with the peace process. And I'm grateful to Norway that has kept it alive and kicking and has kept it possible, even in times of crisis. But the question is, why are you here? Why is it that this donor gathering, why are you here with us? You are here with us not only to respect the agreements, and I'm grateful that you are here to help us respect the agreements at a time when Israel is not respecting the agreement at all. But as you rightly said, Madam Minister and Mr. Borrell, and our friend, the Commissioner from the European Union, you are here to help us build the Palestinian economy. And you are here to help us institutions because you believe in two-state solution. And you are here to help the Palestinians build their own state. And we are grateful to this. And you are not here to maintain the status quo. The status quo that we try to break, because Israel is so interested in maintaining this deteriorating status quo, we should not allow this to happen. And not only that, now Israel is moving into these programs of annexation. You know the agreement, the Palestinian-Israeli agreement was an interim agreement. And this interim agreement should have moved to a permanent agreement. Unfortunately, Israel wanted to make the interim permanent. And you are here to help us break this status quo and move from interimism to a permanent structure that is a Palestinian state. Madam Minister, this Israeli occupation is really putting us in a vicious circle. It does deny us our rights, and it does lose so many opportunities. It is time that we face the moment of truth, you and us, and that you take things so much serious as you always do to prevent this annexation after 54 years of Israeli occupation. The support you give to us is so appreciated by our people. It does help us steady fast on our land, but also your presence today, it's a message from the international community, from the donors community, from the donor countries, that you keep the door open, the door of hope for the Palestinian people, reaching for a real peace based on justice and international law and based on rights and not on mights. This is a situation in which we are grateful to every single assistance that you have extending to us. I conclude by asking you to continue supporting United Nations Work and Relief Agency UNRWA by extending the serious support and a message of hope to the Palestinian people. Our minds and hearts will continue to be open for a serious multilateral forum in which we break the monopoly over this peace process and we try to correct this asymmetrical relationship between us and Israel through an involvement of an international forum. We stay committed to the peace process. We thank you for being with us, and I really appreciate on behalf of our President who sends all his greetings to all of you.